water blower there.
Nice. Last. Yeah.
I England har mete och så kallat flugmete bedrivits som två parallella metoder sedan många hundra år. Just därför är det kanske inte så konstigt att det moderna flugfisket, så som det bedrivs idag, anses ha sitt ursprung på de brittiska öarna. I södra England populariserades en gång den moderna torrflugan, medan man i landets norra grevskap utvecklade den anonyma våtflugan. Intresset för den klassiska torrflugan lever kvar, medan intresset för våtflugan tvärtom nästan helt har gått förlorad. Frågan vi ställer oss är om våtflugans tid är förbi. Har dess en gång så stora attraktionskraft hos öring och harr gått förlorad? För att lära oss mer om våtflugefisket beger vi oss till norra England, där den vinglösa våtflugetypen spiders en gång utvecklades. Vi har åkt till legendariska River Wharf i grevskapet Yorkshire för att där träffa våtflugespecialisten Paul Procter. I England är Paul en populär fiskeprofil som livnär sig på sitt stora kunnande om flugfiske.
You present your flies so delicate, and I can see that you have practiced this technique for many of the years. You're actually from this classic North Spider area, aren't you, Paul?
Yes, yeah. Live in the Lake District, which you can encompass in the north and north country style of tying, if you like. It was, looking back, tender age of 14, I think, Johan, when I first started using North Country spiders. Way back then, it was easy to adopt the fishing style and the actual tying style of those flies, purely because that's what everybody was using. Ashamedly, as I got a wee bit older, into my late teens, I was led astray by horrible gaudy flies, reservoir flies, and delved into reservoir fishing, if you like, for a number of years. And I guess it wasn't a deliberate or conscious move, but I found myself slipping more and more back into using North Country flies over the years. Obviously,
back to basic again.
Never ceases to amaze me. They're time-honoured flies, well over 100 years old, and they still serve us well today. And it's very important that we keep them at the forefront of fishing, with obviously, naturally, with other styles as well. But nonetheless, it's very important we keep them there. And they have become the cornerstone of my fly fishing, if you like, especially in these surroundings here on a typical Dales River, the River Wharf. And what I'd like to show you, Johan, is what we're focusing on here is this foam line.
Yeah.
And we'll just put some casts up here now in this streamy water.
It's going to be very nice
and see how we get on.
Yeah.
Johan? Couple of fish rising in
En av Pauls favoritplatser är i en pool längre uppströms. Då förhållandena är de rätta brukar öringen vaka längs den andra sidan.
Difficult to say, but judging by the rise form, it suggests something fast in the surface film. Would you like to try?
No, please go ahead. You saw them. I'm gonna go around the corner.
Eftersom det inte syns några insekter på vattenytan där fisken har visat sig, så antar Paul att det är något strax under ytan som öringen tar. För att inte störa allt för mycket så vadar Paul extra försiktigt. Ett oförsiktigt steg kan innebära att fisken upphör att vaka. Ytterst på fluglinan sitter en väl synlig extralina som Paul markerat med svarta tuschsträck. Extralinan fungerar som en väl synlig nappindikator som även går att se på distans. Paul har lokaliserat en vakande öring längs skumlinjen och presenterar flugorna fridriftande över vakplatsen gång efter gång. På vaket syns tydligt att fisken tar en fluga som knappt ligger mer än någon centimeter under vattenytan. Det är en vacker vårföring som tagit Pauls Black Spider. Knubbig och välmatad som ett bevis på åns goda tillgång på föda. Pauls demonstration om hur spiderflugorna ska fiskas är mycket intressant. Men det är inte enbart om fisketeknik som Paul har stor kunskap.
Paul, I really like these soft hackle flies. I was thinking, you have been tied those flies for ages now, haven't you? And what's your opinion about how a good, well-dressed spider should be tied?
Well, Johan, there's a few criteria we need to concern ourselves with. Just pick out a water hand blower here.
Yeah, that's a classic pattern, isn't it?
Isn't it just? It's arguably my favourite fly. Firstly, the hook.
Yeah.
Common mistake, people tie on using too heavy a gauge of hook. Not so much for the fly sinking, although that does concern us. Ideally, we want the fly to fish quite high up in the water. Too heavy a hook just makes the fly look unnatural. Leading on from that, obviously, is the body of the fly. We want to keep that slim, neat.
It's extremely neat,
Yes.
this body. Yeah.
Well, basically, it's either a thread body, but as you know, with the water hand blower, we've just got a slight misting of mole's fur on there. Then we come on, obviously, to the hackle.
I can just recognize that. I can just see that those spiders I have seen in the shops, they have lots more hackles on them than your flies.
I suspect they're to catch the fisherman rather than the fish, Johan. Yes, ideally no more than 2 turns of hackle on a spider. And then the fly's just simply finished off with a very neat head of 3 turns, 3-turn whip finish. We're fishing 3 flies, and ideally, rather than fish them all as individuals, we fish them as a team.
Yes, bit like the boatsmen up in the way the Scottish used to do in
Just
the
like lock-style fishing, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got it in one there, Johan. Yes, I mean, who's to say we can't put maybe a water hand blower on the top dropper, one of these bright fellows on the middle dropper, and maybe a black magic on the point. And the fish could quite easily be drawn to this brighter fly and seize one of the other flies.
Interesting, very interesting. So, you see, Paul, the problem I have is that I don't have any of those brighter flies to try on the middle.
Why don't you take that one? Yes, yeah.
And I gotta give the fish downstream, as we have seen rising a
Yes.
couple of times. Good try. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Det är sällan som vackert väder och ett bra fiske går att kombinera. Öringen är skygg och kommer helst inte fram under den starka solen. Därför tar Paul med Johan till en annan del där strömmen är betydligt krabbare.
The surroundings are just fantastic.
Very pretty.
Yes, it is.
Johan, this is your first visit up to the north of England for fly fishing, is it?
It is. I've never been here before. I've been down in south earlier, but never up here.
It's a very warm day. Obviously, towards the evening is going to be our best chance, I would think. But we can probably keep ourselves entertained for a few hours in these fast riffly runs here. And have you got a couple of spiders on there, Johan?
Well, I wouldn't dare to not have.
I know.
So I have a little marsh brown spider and a little water and blue.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can start just in here. Let's just take a little wade out.
Try the deeper part of the stream.
Yeah.
Okay, closer to the other.
I think that's where some
side.
fish will be holding just at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see.
Ett försiktigt vak bryter plötsligt ytan vid poolens inlopp. Ett vak innebär en ätande fisk och kan vara värd ett försök.
Water out here where the main stream actually.
I'm sure I saw a fish move as well, just
Yeah.
as we were.
Straight over there,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Okay. We'll give it a try, won't we?
Fisken är svårtrugad och det krävs många försök för att till sist övertyga öringen om att ta någon av flugorna.
I think there's a fish over there,
Yeah.
Johan.
I will try that. Oh yes, there we go.
Nice one.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. Nice fish.
Last. Yeah.
Nice fish. Well
Yeah.
done.
He came up and took that little.
Is he on the dropper or the point fly? I'm not
He's
sure.
actually on the point fly. Yeah. And I use very, very, very thin leader tip, as you said, for 7x,
Excellent.
7x tippet.
Oh, nice fish.
Yeah.
Nice fish. Well done, Johan.
Oh gosh, look at this.
Oh, well done, Johan.
Beautiful fish, isn't it?
Typical sort of wharf trout you've got there.
Is it really?
Certainly
Yeah.
pushing a pound in weight is that one.
Beautiful, beautiful. Took the little olive
Yes.
spider
Yeah.
and beautiful fish. Lovely. Snake. Ah. Ha. Yeah. Okay. I put him back.
Nice fish though.
Yeah. Listen.
Well done.
Good man.
Well done.
Very good.
Well done. Nice fish.
Oh,
well
that was
done.
a nice fish, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Wonderful. This was my first wolf trout ever caught on a classic spider. Partridge and olive, what I call it. It's a nice little
Yes.
fly.
Yeah.
I wonder, Paul, how would you fish your wet flies
Okay.
in a water like this?
Yeah, it's a interesting question, Johan. I often get asked this question: what's the best way to fish spiders or wet flies? And I always give the same answer as it happens, which is you let the conditions and the trout dictate to you the best, the best way. Imagine now what we've got. Well, we've got this low water, clear water.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fish are going to be a little bit more spooky. So approaching from behind is arguably the best. So we'd be upstream fishing to the trout.
Yes.
And we can break the river up and fan cast, which we'll come to in a moment.
Search for the fish.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. Obviously, rising fish are better because we've got a target to throw
Yes,
at as well,
yes.
and we can continually drift the flies over that productive area time and again.
Yeah.
And that's perhaps spider fishing in its purest form. I'd like to show you that, and
would love to see it.
we'll then discuss downstream tactics. Just fishing the 2 flies at
Yes.
the moment,
Yes.
Johan, purely because of the shallow water. 3 flies is maybe just going to take them a fraction
Just
too
see that.
deep.
How long is your leader totally?
If I'm fishing 2 flies, it'll be a 9-foot leader. For 3 flies, I'll be looking at a 12-foot leader.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And the distance between your
Well,
flies?
it's approximately, how would you say, a metre, but I think
Yeah,
a more accurate guide is the tip of the nose to the tip
Alright,
of the finger.
yeah.
You can achieve that
Yeah,
every time.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Literally, we're just going to pop the flies
Yeah.
upstream here.
Okay.
We're working on quite a short line, 2-3 rod lengths,
Yes. Short drifts.
short drifts.
Okay.
We'll just come level with us there, then we can pick
Yeah.
the flies up.
Yeah.
And again, just present them in a slightly different area
Yes.
if you haven't got rising fish.
A little bit further out, so
Yes.
you actually cover the whole water in that way.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Piece
Our
by
next
piece.
cast will be a little bit further round the clock.
Yes.
You'll notice as well I've got quite a high rod tip.
Yes, I do.
And what that actually does, keeps the fly line clear of the water.
Yeah.
So we get less drag from the current, and the flies drift more naturally.
Yeah.
I'll just show you that, popping the flies down there.
Yeah.
With all that line exposed on the surface, can you see drag has set in very quickly?
Very quick. And you like to present your fly free drifting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This certainly when I'm upstreaming. You'll also notice I guide the flies, guide the rod tip down level with the flies as they come down.
Yes.
Hopefully this evening we'll have some rising fish, and this is the method that we'll probably use.
Yes.
Something to look forward to.
What I always think of when I hear about the spider techniques, that's the downstream method.
Yeah. It's often frowned upon as quite a chuck and chance it method, which it isn't. Let's look at a different scenario just now, Johan, where we've got high water.
Yeah.
I know that's difficult to imagine given the heat. Yeah.
Yes.
But the river's up a little bit.
Right.
The velocity's there, it's pushing through. The water's carrying a little bit of coloration, there's sediment in there. We've got no rising fish. And upstream fishing is going to increase our work rate. It's no sooner the flies in, they'll be pushed past us, we'll be picking out, cast. So in these circumstances, ideally what I like to do is present the flies across the stream.
Yes.
And this in effect makes a nice blanket sweep of the run down here. Again, I'm just tracking the flies, but any time now you'll see the line lift a fraction as the current grabs the line and takes up the tension. Sweeping the flies across the river there, okay.
The traditional swing.
That's
the
it,
wet
this
fly
swing. Now, some people think, that's not a very good technique, but believe me, it can be, Johan, and there are certain days when the trout, and grayling for that matter, do like the flies presented like that. And I like to look at this swing as the flies come round, they lift up in the water.
Yes, they do.
Often like, we can maybe suggest it's like the Frank Sawyer induced take, if you like.
Yes.
Obviously it's an involuntary induced take because we can't see the fish. But as those flies will lift up, that's the moment you'll get that nice tightening of the line. With that, what I think we should do is a couple of nice pools downstream. We'll go and give those a run through.
Good try.
Just before the evening kicks off.
We might find some of the fish in the ripples, won't we?
I would think this shallow water is our target area at the
particularly
moment.
Particularly in the
this
sunny.
We'll just catch this fly up.
Yeah. All right.
And we'll make our way down. Okay.
Thank you for a nice instruction.
No problem.
And,
You're welcome.
It's fairly interesting.
Dagen övergår snabbt till kväll med en förhoppning om fler vakande öringar.
So Paul, during the day the fishing was quite difficult, I think.
Challenging.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about tonight?
Well, I think there's promise there, Johan. Already as we walk up the river, we've seen quite a few caddies flitting about and one or two upwing flies coming down. If the air doesn't go too chilly, hopefully we'll get some spinner activity later on and some spinners just beneath the surface maybe. Obviously, working in this riffly water is very good because the fish will come in here to feed just now, and these are going to be the kind of areas I'd like us to focus on. We've got a nice run here and one upstream which maybe you'd like to try, and I suggest you take one of these little fellas with you and see if he brings you luck.
Right.
Okay.
That's a little nice spider with a
I suppose it's what you'd term a scaled down March brown spider.
Oh, right, really?
Just a wee bit smaller.
Okay. I tried the ripples.
Yes, absolutely. Just like this, the next pool upstream.
All right.
Just give that a run through with the spiders, okay?
Hopefully we'll get some action.
Okay. See you soon.
Right, see you.
Paul fiskar sina flugor helt fridriftande över den senaste vakplatsen. För att inte störa vattnet mer än nödvändigt så väljer Paul att fiska över en fisk i taget. Det är den klassiska våtflugan, wateren and blowa, som lockar upp öringen. I takt med att mörkret faller, desto ivrigare är öringarna att ta Pauls flugor. Men trots sin stora erfarenhet kan det även för Paul vara svårt att se linindikatorn mot den mörka vattenytan.
Oh, bastard! That's a nice fish.
Uppströms Paul har även Johan ett trevligt fiske. Men till skillnad ifrån Paul så fiskar Johan flugorna nedströms på klassiskt våtflugemaner.
Fin fisk.
Fisket under kvällen har varit mycket bra. Dessutom har vi fått det bevisat att de gamla spiderflugorna fungerar lika bra idag som de en gång gjorde för mer än 100 år sedan.
Good night, wasn't it?
Excellent night's fishing.
Yeah.
Johan, I had so many fish rising in front of me at one point.
Yeah.
Just able to fish upstream to them. It was fantastic, and I guess pretty much the same happened for you.
Actually, I did lose a fish out here, and I caught most of my fish on the swing, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Of course. You've got a tension line there, and you were feeling for the takes.
Good
yeah.
technique.
Yeah.
Very
good
technique.
in the low line.
Most of the fish took the water and blowers, actually.
Excellent.
Fantastic
Excellent.
fly.
Yes.
And it was such a nice feeling to stand here in this classic water and fish these classic flies. And I just start to think, can you tell me something about the history of this technique and these flies?
I know quite a bit about the history, but there are people who certainly know a lot more about the history than me. I really enjoy the fishing of the spiders and tying of the flies, but I know just the man you need to be speaking to.
Really?
Yes, a friend of mine, Malcolm Greenhalgh.
Mr. Greenhalgh.
Yeah,
okay.
He's the man to talk to.
Yeah.
We can catch up with Malcolm tomorrow.
Yeah.
But how about in the meantime we go and grab a beer at the pub and
that sounds very, very good. I'm
talk
really
about
thirsty.
the evening's fishing.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you see any insects this night?
Quite a lot of spinners actually, Johan.
Yeah.
Hold on, was that a fish up there just now?
I think it actually was.
Yeah.
Who should try him?
Yeah,
me.
you.
Should I try
think
it?
You should,
Last
yes.
fish on wharf.
För att lära oss mer om spiderflugornas historia beger vi oss till gränsen mellan Yorkshire och Lancashire för att där träffa Malcolm Greenhalgh vid ån Hodder. Malcolm har särskilt intresserat sig för flugfiskets historia som han har mycket att berätta om.
So Malcolm, we sit here next to the famous North Country river Hodder, where actually T.E. Pritt once fished.
Pritt fished here. One of my heroes, T.E. Pritt. He fished here in the 1800s.
Yeah.
His favourite piece is a little bit higher up,
Yeah.
but he fished throughout this river.
All right.
You know, Pritt. Wonderful
I
man.
know that you have done a lot of research about North Country spiders and the techniques and the people used to practicing these techniques in these rivers. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the North Country spiders?
North Country spiders are not that as old as some people think. They weren't around, for example, when Charles Cotton was fishing in the 1600s. And my guess is that they evolved very, very late in the 1700s, probably about 1800. They're very, very simple flies, and they evolved mainly in the rivers of Lancashire and Yorkshire. The River Hodder, where we're sitting, used to be the official boundary between Lancashire and Yorkshire. This was Yorkshire, that was Lancashire. And it's quite apt that although the flies were developed in about 1800, the early 1800s, and were publicised first by Walbran and one or two others, the man who put them together was in fact a Lancastrian who worked in Yorkshire, called T.E. Pritt, my hero. And he produced this big catalogue in the 1880s called North Country Flies, and that still is the catalogue of basic patterns.
Edmondson Lee is another famous couple.
They produced a book called Brook and River Trouting in the during the First World War, and that has quite a few patterns in it, but nowhere near as many as Pritt. And really, the catalogue of Miss Pritt.
Interesting. So, because of Pritt, it was suddenly possible to see different patterns used in different areas in the neighbourhood.
Yes,
okay.
The one thing you've got to remember is that in those days there were no fishing magazines, there was no internet, there was no websites, and in fact we couldn't get cheap flights to Sweden or to anywhere.
No.
So people living in the Ribble Valley, which is the Hodder's part of, wouldn't know anybody from the Wharf Valley.
No.
They knew these basic patterns, but they developed their own flies to suit their own water. And what Pritt did was to bring all these different rivers together, Wharf, Ure, Eden, Ribble, Loon, put all their flies together in this one book, North Country Flies.
Interesting.
För att kunna fiska på den här sträckan av Hodder krävs det att man är medlem i klubben som driver fisket. Malcolm har fiskat i ån under många år och hans naturliga sätt att på klassiskt spidermanér presentera sina flugor vittnar om en livslång skola. I ån finns både lax och öring, men det är främst öringen som har fascinerat Malcolm genom åren.
Hi Malcolm.
Hello, Johan.
Any luck?
Well, I've just lost a nice fish there. Well, I should never really say lost, because you know what Isaac Walton said? Isaac Walton said, a man cannot lose what he never had. And I never had the trout, so I can't lose it. But I've just lost a nice one there.
So, which flies do you
Well, I don't
use?
know which fly. I've got my three favourite spider patterns on. The top is Sniper Purple. That is a great simple fly.
Yeah.
Then I've got Waterhen Blower.
Uh-huh.
A very good fly.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the one that catches perhaps most trout for me if I'm fishing spiders, which is
The classic.
a classic orange partridge, or partridge in orange it's sometimes called. That is a great fly. Do you know something? On a river like this, like the Hodder, you can actually catch grills, small salmon.
Really?
With
Is
this,
that so?
in about a size 12.
Interesting.
In fact, I had a little grills on just there last year.
Yeah.
About 6.5 English pounds.
Brilliant.
On
one of those.
Yeah.
Small little flies. I see you fish with cane rods.
Well, I fish carbon, cane.
Yeah.
I've never fished a green heart. The original fisherman on here would have fished Greenhalgh, or they would have made their own very long rods out of hedgerow wood, things like blackthorn and so on.
Yeah.
Because of course in the early days of there were no tattle shops, very few tattle shops.
Yeah.
Francis Walbrand, who we know about, he had a tattle shop in Leeds, but they were very, very rare. And so a lot of things that they used, they actually made, things like horsehair line.
Yes. Any horsehair line, any horse.
No, it had to be stallion, because mares urinate on the tail, and that makes the hair soft and makes them break.
How strong was
one horsehair is approximately a quarter of a kilo breaking straight.
Okay.
I've actually made line, and I've actually cast with them as experiments.
They still work.
Historic.
I heard that Walbrand once said that he still preferred to use the horsehair line instead of the silk lines, because he found that the horsehair line were a lot softer in the stream.
Yes and no, but you see, get me on most days, and I would have a carbon rod, a plastic line like this one, ultra modern tapered leader with 2 droppers attached. I mean, I don't think they ever wore necklaces like this, with floatant and sinkant, and so things have gone on from then.
Yes. So it was long rods, horsehair lines, and a team of flies.
And a team of 3. Generally fish 3. When I was a boy, I fished 2 and still tangled. Now I can fish 3 and not tangled.
Good man. Lovely river. While I'm here, could I go down and try one of your treads?
You have a cast down there.
Yeah?
You have a cast there. So
brilliant. Talk later.
Det är en härlig känsla att en gång i livet få doppa sina flugor i ett vatten där de legendariska våtflugefiskarna Pritt och Walbrand en gång fiskade. Inga insekter syns till på ytan, men ändå ser Malcolm ett försiktigt vak ut i strömmen. Men trots att öringen bevisligen äter så visar den inget intresse för någon av flugorna. Mittenflugan, Snipe and Purple, byts ut till en betydligt mindre Black Spider. Flugbytet visar sig lyckosamt. Öringen tar och visar återigen att den gamla våtflugan väl förtjänar sin plats.
Come on, fish.
Besöket i norra England har varit mycket intressant, och vi har lärt oss om hur den moderna våtflugefiskaren presenterar sina spiders, men också om historien och om människorna bakom de berömda spiderflugorna.
There it goes.